to a very great extent. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by acknowledging the very great array of speakers that have been put forward today for this conference. I will acknowledge His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Engineer Hamzat. I will also acknowledge the presence of another keynote speaker, a great Nigerian, Pastor Itua Godalo, amongst others. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this year's conference is quite unique, and unique in the sense that it challenges not only our creative abilities and innovative abilities, but tries to position these latent talents with the new reality we have on ground, especially with the COVID pandemic that we have that is ravaging the world. Earlier this year, by this time, we would have been thinking of having discussions around this, possibly in what we can call a post-pandemic era. However, the third and fourth phase of the COVID pandemic is gradually crippling in on us as a nation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the 5th Young Leaders Entrepreneurship Conference is set to achieve a number of things, especially one of which is to motivate and inspire real entrepreneurs amongst our young leaders to continue to be very resilient, despite all the challenges that we have around us. And that is not impossible. So I must say that the array of speakers that we have today are those who will be sharing experiences of their personal encounters in a bid to set up several entrepreneurship schemes. So they will be sharing with us the success stories, as well as the challenges they have met along the line, which will also assist us in navigating our own course as we progress as young leaders. These are not stories, these are real life experiences that will benefit most of us in charting a course as young entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me also add that at the University of Lagos, the university under the able leadership of our amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, is also pushing very hard towards improving, repositioning the University of Lagos as not only a research-intensive university, but also an entrepreneurial university. So in that regard, we have an entrepreneurship and skills development center, ably headed by Dr. Adebisi Sunday, the acting director. And following from the work we've been doing The University of Lagos happened to be the only university in Africa that was also given the Center of Excellence to host the Unemployment and Skills Development Center we have in Africa under the African Universities Research Alliance. And a lot has been done in this regard. Several competitions and pitching events have been done. And we have gone further to even partner with the Bank of Industry to ensure that any student of the University of Lagos that comes up with a very good bankable project, after going through the meals, will now be assisted with a seeding loan of about 2 million naira, which the Bank of Industry has graciously provided for the University of Lagos to enable them start up very effectively. At the end of the day, we are looking forward to where a number of our students will be able to come up with innovative programs that are entrepreneurial, and the university will assist them in setting up their own companies as they graduate from the University of Lagos. Now, let me also add that in doing this, the university has now come up with an enlarged program of what we used to call the GST 307 program, which is an entrepreneurship course. That program has now been totally redesigned with a view to any student of the University of Lagos who comes in will not only graduate with a certificate in your core cognate area of competence, but you will also be given a certificate of entrepreneurship of the University of Lagos. And this certificate is graded. We will have the silver grade. We'll also have the gold grade, and we'll have the platinum grade for those that have actually distinguished themselves in the entrepreneurship program. And some of those ones will be those that will also qualify for the seeding loan of 2 million naira that will enable them to take up their projects with angel investors and then bring it to reality. So those are a number of ways that the University of Lagos is assisting to push the frontiers of entrepreneurship. In the same vein, our staff and students have also engaged in bringing up very innovative ideas. And some of those ideas have received patents in order to preserve the intellectual property rights for those that develop those. As of today, the University of Lagos has over 21 patents in several fields. But the one that I really get very excited is the one that addresses our immediate problems of flooding. There's a patent that we have developed that tries to monitor what we call flood control when you have flash floods. So that is gradually being moved forward to an extent where we will use that to assist most of our coastal states. I am sure we're also aware of what we have also been able to do with respect to ventilators. During the COVID period, the ambovent ventilator was developed by the staff and students of the University of Lagos. And the unique thing about the ambulance ventilator is that it can be used in rural areas where you have challenges of light for patients. So that has been developed with the assistance of the Lagos State government last week. And gradually, we are now moving to the clinical trial stage of that ventilator. And lastly, there's the AVAS technology that was developed through our Entrepreneurship Skills Development Center. And that went through all the entire process of patenting and trials. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that the AVAS technology was developed earlier on as one of the technical solutions to assist pensioners that have to come virtually every year to show I am alive. And they take so much pains to make those journeys from their various destinations to Abuja just to show face that they are still alive, but they can continue to earn their pension. And that technology was developed based on the voice over control. But today, it has now been also expanded to another area where it is now being used by the National Identity Card units to register individuals for the NIN. At the University of Lagos today, in the last 1.5 months, that facility has been made available at the foyer of the council chambers, and both students and staff and other stakeholders and the communities around the University of Lagos here have been enjoying that technology to enable them to register for the NIN that is ongoing in Nigeria now. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the courage to come for this program. I want to assure you that at the end of the day, you will be happy that you attended this conference. And it's not just a conference where you come and speak highfalutin grammar, but this is a conference where practical solutions to moving the entrepreneurship program of individuals in a very difficult economy, such as that we have in Nigeria, coupled with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic that we have. I urge all of you to listen very patiently, take down notes, ask questions, ensure that you engage in networking, which is quite critical, that will enable you to network amongst your peers and other mentors that will assist you in moving your entrepreneurship skill to greater heights. Every individual is endowed with one form of skill or the other, and those skills are usually latent. It is when you make attempts to develop them that you can then take it up to what you can call a form of entrepreneurship program that will enable you offer services to your community, to the nation, and make money and make profit and become an employer of labor rather than looking for a white-collar job. It does also not mean that those of us who are also employed, you can still have other multiple streams of income when you engage in useful entrepreneurship programs. So on that note, the convener, Mr. Tosin Adeshile, the compere, I want to thank and appreciate all of you for this opportunity to address the conference. And I look forward to when we'll be having the Silver Jubilee and Diamond Jubilee celebration of the Young Leaders Entrepreneurship Conference sometime in the future. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. God bless you too.
I think let me say thank you to let me say thank you to our okay. So also worthy of note is to tell you that the Entrepreneur Center they have is a world-class entrepreneurship center. In 2019, we had a partnership. The event that was held in Afebala had a partnership with the center, and Dr. Adepisi, the coordinator, was also one of the speakers, and he was able to tell us one or two things about the center. So I implore you that we have ULEC Hub in Abeokuta, Obada to be precise. We have University of Lagos Entrepreneurship Center and so many entrepreneurship incubation centers that we have in Nigeria. So all you need is to just pay a visit. Whether it's you just have the idea or you don't have idea, you need how mentorship in the area of sustainability of your business or a particular business to do. There are so many students of Unilag that have currently won various grants to also aid their business, having gone through series of training programs in the Entrepreneurship Center. So I encourage you to please take advantage. You can get more information about this. So always kindly can send in your inquiries through our email, ulecob@gmail.com. Be able to give you the necessary response. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for that. So over to you, the Master of Ceremony.
So we go with one of the keynote speakers who is already on standby, who the convener will be introducing to us right away. Over to you, convener.
Okay. So we have the first speaker. We have Pastor Remy Morgan, and then Moyo will be reading a short profile of Pastor Remy Morgan. But as I've said rightly, Pastor Remy Morgan is an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Lantana Books. And also, he is a provincial pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He's the provincial pastor of Lagos Province 35, if I'm not mistaken, and Christ Church. So he will be taking his own lecture. Yeah, please don't forget that there are we have question and answer. You have questions and answer for each and every one of the speakers. If you also have questions for the chairman, based on the little he has told us, this program is all about networking. It's all about networking. So you can decide to ask questions from any of our speakers or chairman or the convener or any of us. Please feel free to do that. And then feel free to also get across to us at the end of the program if you need to get across any of participants or the speakers as well. We are always there to guide you. So now we'll be taking the first lecture. So Moyo will give us a short profile of Pastor Remy Morgan. So over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good
The
morning.
first guest we're going to be having is Pastor Itwa Igodalo. He is the senior pastor, Trinity House, located at Victoria Island, Lagos. He is a chartered accountant. He is the editor-in-chief of the Christian News and Timeless newspaper, as well as the Timeless Business and Leadership Quarterly. He is a partner at SIAO, a firm of chartered accountants and management consultants, and also chairs Uni Courage Web Media Limited. Our second speaker is Pastor Remy Morgan. He is the senior pastor, RCCB Christ Church, Lagos Province 35. He is an accomplished chartered accountant of over 25 years experience. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Lantana Ventures Limited and Bookshop, a leading literature corporation, distribution and marketing organization established in 1994. He's a father, he's a husband, he travels nationwide, and he does the work of God. Thank you very much. I'll hand over back to the convener, Mr. Tosin Adesile.
Okay, thank you very much, Moyo, for that. We shall be reverting back to listen to Pastor Remy Morgan, who is going to be coming on board. As Moyo has said rightly, that Pastor Remy Morgan is a businessman who has also been into business before, and then he can tell us what it takes when it comes to having a business. Not something easy to do business in Nigeria. Nigeria is such an unfriendly economy. So he is going to be talking to us. Please enjoy.
Good day, brothers and sisters. It is a privilege to be a part of this edition of the Young Leaders Entrepreneurship Conference. I have been asked to speak upon is entrepreneurship in an unfriendly economy. How to navigate entrepreneurship in an unfriendly economy. How to navigate. And very quickly, by way of introduction, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship plays a vital role in the development of a country's economy, as this is the key contributor to innovativeness, to product development, reduction of unemployment, and elimination of poverty. Entrepreneurship, which is basically the practice of starting a business in order to earn a profit on newfound opportunities, can go a long way to stabilize the economy of a nation as well as generate massive returns. Rural areas. In 1800, French economists coined a definition of an entrepreneur as one who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower productivity into one of higher productivity and greater yield. So that's what it is. It's a shift in resources from areas of lower productivity to areas of higher productivity. Entrepreneurship is defined as the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources currently controlled. So yes, resources are available. Resources are within the ambit of a particular individual or group of people, but they want to move the resources and translate and ensure it translates to greater returns. An opportunity is a proposed venture to sell a product or services.
Sorry, we are trying to ensure that you enjoy the audio. So we'll be joining back so that you can. Sorry for the.
Program, which is this opportunity to appreciate our container. I want to acknowledge also our keynote speaker, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Amstad. I also want to recognize and appreciate my dear friend and brother, also a special speaker, Pastor Kodado. Now, the topic I have been asked to speak upon is entrepreneurship in an unfriendly economy. How to navigate entrepreneurship in an unfriendly economy. How to navigate. And very quickly, by way of introduction, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship plays a vital role in the development of a country's economy. This is the key contributor to innovativeness, to product improvement, reduction of unemployment, and elimination of poverty. Entrepreneurship, which is basically the practice of starting a business in order to earn a profit on newfound opportunities, can go a long way to stabilize the economy of a nation as well as generate massive returns to the government. The term entrepreneur an entrepreneur as one who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower productivity into one of higher productivity and the yield. So that's what it is. It's a shift in resources from areas of lower productivity to areas of higher productivity. Entrepreneurship is defined as the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources currently controlled. So yes, resources are available. Resources are within the ambit of a particular individual or group of people, but they want to pool the resources and translate and ensure it translates to greater return. An opportunity is a proposed venture to sell a product or service which customers are willing to pay more than the required investment and operating costs. Right? Yes, entrepreneurship must have a profit motive. It must have a self-profit motive. It is not putting resources together and then your costs are equal to your revenue. No, there is an anticipation that there will be more by way of return than the cost of the investment. So who then is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur who has ideas and makes these ideas happen and come to life is not an individual. Because have some business skills, some ideation, that is ability to think, some creativity, innovation, someone who assumes risks and desires to make a profit. An entrepreneur is a person who's good and able to convert a new idea or invention to a successful innovation. Procter is also famous for the phrase creative destruction. So a dimension of entrepreneurship is what is referred to as creative destruction. So the importance of entrepreneurship to an economy. What is the importance of entrepreneurship and economy? And brethren, an entrepreneur or entrepreneurship in itself can affect and impact a country or an economy in different ways. Number one, considering individuals, considering businesses as well that will benefit from what it is, the trust that is being presented. Entrepreneurs drive change, innovation, because a lot of times new and improved products are provided that are made available into the market. What else entrepreneurs do? They spark economic growth. Products and services created by entrepreneurs can produce a multiplier effect when they stimulate leader business support sector that needs support the new venture, furthering economic development. One of the things that come to mind as I'm people just sharing now is what happens with the advent of the mobile phone. Prior to that, the greatest advertisers, I think, was the bank. But then, of course, we had the economy. But the minute the telephone showed up, then the budgets, I'm sure, of most of them were quite high. So the advertising sector benefited significantly. The infrastructure sector benefited significantly. I mean, so many of those organizations set up towers and all manner of things that hitherto had not been considered in the economy were being made available. Entrepreneurs add to national income. Entrepreneurs ventures help generate new wealth. Business may maintain a limit in terms of income.
Accept our original.
Enable the market and new wealth. So we can, to an extent, say that entrepreneurs are nation builders. They should be more creative and move up with trends. We must value entrepreneurs as partners in development of our nation. We're looking continued at the importance of entrepreneurship. The SME, small and medium enterprises sector is the backbone of major developed countries as well as important contributors to employment, economic, and export growth. For instance, South Africa, you understand that SMEs account for 91% of businesses, 60% of employment, and contribute 52% to national growth, national GDP. For Nigeria, SMEs account for 96% of businesses, 84% of employment. So 84% of Nigerians, employable and employed Nigerians, find themselves working in entrepreneurial organizations. And they also contribute 48% of national GDP. So we appreciate the importance of SMEs, the importance of entrepreneurship in any nation or wherever it is that we find ourselves. World Bank doing business index, not fantastic, but they have moved 50 places from the 146th position in the 2019 report. The report names Nigeria for the second time as one of the top 10 countries with the most notable improvement during the review period. So yes, we see an improvement between 2019 and 2020. Nigeria improved significantly in starting a business, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, registering property, trading across borders, and enforcing contract agencies. Because there are quite a number of parameters that are measured to evaluate your ease of doing business. Of course, we are aware that the presidential business environmental council by the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2016. The target is to ensure that Nigeria ends up in the top 7 in the World Bank rank of business index by 2023. Sounds like a tall order when you consider that 131 of 109 was well miracles to have. Okay, so we see some improvement in that area. So there are a number of parameters that the World Bank has just measured, and I'll just run through a number. Starting a business is a very, very important parameter. So they tell us that Nigeria is ranked 105 out of 190. Dealing with construction permits, another parameter. We're number 5 out of 109. Getting electricity, we're 169 out of 190. We all know the issue. Electricity. Some reasons are worse, but this is nothing we can pride ourselves about at all. 169, not so good. Registering property. 180 out of 190. So let us know how terrible and how difficult it is, and that cannot be something that will enhance business for people to come in here and own their own property. Getting credit from the same where number 15, I find that quite interesting in the ranking. Protecting minority investors, number 28, not bad. Paying taxes, number 159. Obviously, paying taxes is not something that's very high on our priority list. Trading across borders, 179. Definitely trade across borders. I mean, you tried going by road and you're going to find even the route going to Sebe, even then, but there was, better at the border crossing and all of that. I mean, capacity and all manner of things. Enforcing contracts, they say, well, number 73 out of 190, then resolving insolvency. So those things are not good. They were 131 out of 190. The goal objective is to be top 70. Let's hope that our vice president and team will be able to do someone. So, we want to consider
Please kindly make amendment. We can't take anything from our hand there, please.
Well, we are trying to, we realize that the audio is not coming forth. So please, that will be fixed shortly. Apologies for the audio. I think it's due to the internet bandwidth that is serving the entire place here. So sorry for that. We are working on it, and we are going to ensure that that's fixed. But at the end of the program, you would also have access to the recording, videos, voice of all the speakers, and then slides that will be used for the event. So thank you everyone for understanding.
So entrepreneur. Hello? Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, no problem. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would just like us to confirm that you can hear me although good morning it is, at least here in Nigeria. Is everyone hearing me, please? If you do, then I will proceed.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you very much, and a good morning, good afternoon to everyone, depending on what part of the world you are in. My name is Pastor Remy Morgan. Well, I really want to apologize on behalf of all of us regarding the glitches that we're having with data and with transmission of this. I don't know what the issues are, but hey, these things do happen. And it's always good to actually have a plan B, and if need be a plan C, plan D. For entrepreneurs in Nigeria, I think that's how we operate. And for the typical Nigerian, I believe that's what it is that we do. So I'm going to jump, straight into my presentation. I have a number of other things to do. So I've done the recording in advance, but issues do arise. Very quickly, I just want to acknowledge the significant efforts of our convener, Mr. Tosin Adeshile. Thanks, for the vision that you have had that has permitted this conference to take place for quite a number of years now. I want to say a big good morning to Professor Obina Chukwu. Thank you so much for your opening remarks. I was really, really encouraged to hear what it is that the University of Lagos is doing. I mean, ideally, our universities should be part of the ecosystem that helps to produce and generate entrepreneurs. I was really blessed by what Mr. Tosin had to share, the historical perspective of our nation and why it is where we are today. I was particularly challenged by your statement that independence was given to us too early. We had a lot of arguments about that, and
I don't know. I guess the jury is still out as far as that is concerned. I want to recognize, of course, our Honorable Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, who is our keynote speaker, as well as my dear friend and brother, Pastor Itwa Igodalo, the senior pastor at Trinity House in Victoria Island, Lagos. Pastor Itwa and myself go a very, very long way, and we have so many commonalities, amongst us. But we thank God for what it is. So I want to appreciate everyone that is here on the platform. Today, you could be in other places. People convene programs, and it's only successful if the people we're expecting actually show up. So I want to say a big, thank you to all of you that are on the platform. And I'm trusting that, we'll be blessed by the things that we have to share. So very quickly, introduction, entrepreneurship in an unfriendly economy. How do we navigate? I'd, taken time to, define entrepreneurship, the role that it plays in an economy. It contributes to innovativeness. That's what entrepreneurship does. It contributes to product improvement, reduction of unemployment, and elimination or reduction of poverty. So what essentially is entrepreneurship? The practice of starting a business in order to earn a profit on opportunities. Might be existing opportunities, might be newfound opportunities. The term entrepreneur predates industrial revolution in the Western world, when limited manufacturing took place in homes in rural areas. In 1800, the French economist J.B. Say coined a definition of an entrepreneur as one who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower productivity into one of higher productivity and greater yield. So there's a shift, there's a movement in resources. Yield exists, but it is low. So can we move it to a higher platform? Entrepreneurship also defined as the pursuit of an economy, of an opportunity beyond the resources currently controlled. So I have resources, but I want to pursue opportunities that are beyond my resources. That also is one of the definitions of entrepreneurship. So who are the entrepreneurs? An individual who has ideas and makes the ideas happen or come to life. Must have business skills, ability to think, ideation, creativity, innovation. Someone who assumes risk and desires to make a profit. Someone defined an entrepreneur as a creative disruptor. So things exist, but can I disrupt the ecosystem? Amazon is the result of a disruption of the ecosystem. Of primarily, he started out selling books, but today he's heading out to space, and I'm sure they're going to commercialize all these seemingly fanciful and out of the box trips to outer space. An entrepreneur who runs a business at his own financial risk. So risk is clearly associated with entrepreneurship. So how does it impact our economy? How does it impact the economies of different nations? Improve standards of living, create wealth, not only for the entrepreneurs, but for also affiliated businesses. Entrepreneurs drive change and innovation where new and improved products and services can be made available and developed. Entrepreneurs spur economic growth. New product services created, employment opportunities created, multiply effect triggers economic growth. It also contributes to national wealth. We realize that it is entrepreneurship that contributes significant portions of national wealth and GDP in quite a number of nations. So we can literally say that entrepreneurs have a role in building nations, and we must value them and appreciate that they're indeed partners in development. So how important is entrepreneurship? Some stats I have here: South Africa, SMEs that are significant vehicles of entrepreneurship, account for 91% of business activity, 60% of employment, and 52% of national GDP. Closer home, Nigeria, 96% of businesses are SMEs, entrepreneurial organizations. 84% of employment is attributable to them, and 48% of our national GDP is birthed by what it is that entrepreneurs make available to us. So I looked at a few statistics. How do we rank as a nation as far as the World Bank's 2020 Doing Business report is concerned? I know in a couple of decades, we've been hearing that narrative. Doing business report by the World Bank. And interestingly, we are ranked not very well at 131 out of 190 countries. So 190 countries have been tracked, and they say we are number 131. Not a great place. And then they have different parameters by which they measure, and they track your movement from year to year. What is your ranking what was your ranking in 2019? What is your ranking in 2020? And I'll just very quickly share what some of those parameters are. So starting a business, they tell us that we're overall, like I said, we're 131 out of 190 nations. So starting a business, ease of starting a business, they say we're ranked at 131. Not a very great place. How about dealing with construction permits? They tell us we're 55 out of 190. I guess not too bad. Getting electricity, we're 169 out of 190. So we're really close towards, the end. And of course, we've recognized that, electricity, power generation is one of the major bans of, entrepreneurship here in Nigeria. Registering property is 183 out of 190. So that's right at the tail end of that parameter. It's obviously not easy to register property. And if you try to do that, what are the loops that you have to jump through. Getting credit, they say it is at number 15. I'm not sure that I quite agree with that, because access to credit is one of the big problems of entrepreneurship in Nigeria. Protecting minority investors, they say we're at number 28. Paying taxes, 159. Of course, that's not, a great desire. Trading across borders, 179. So it's not really good to move your products across the border to neighboring nations. You have Niger in the north, you have Cameroon in the east, you have Republic of Benin in the west. Some years ago, the firm I used to work with, the professional accounting firm, we had some clients out in Republic of Benin, and I used to have to travel, get laissez-passer and all those documents to try and go through the border, semi-border into Republic of Benin. It was tough enough even when you got to the border, but the access roads were in decent condition. But right now, I understand that the roads are in such a terrible state. So how do I move physical product across the border? Of course, so trading across borders, 179. Enforcing contracts, 73. I guess that's not too bad. Resolving insolvency. So organizations go insolvent and they want to address all the issues. How do I deal with my suppliers? How do I deal with this? We're ranked at number 148. So very quickly, touch on effects of COVID-19 on the economy. Yes, so in late 2019, we hear about some virus that has come out of Wuhan in China. And by the time we get to March, I think the third week in March 2020, everything is shut down. Entirety of April, we learned to, love our family members. You spend time with your spouse, you spend time with your children and all that. So it was an experience like we had never gone before. And it was not even restricted to Nigeria alone. It was right throughout the world. And so someone said, one little virus, the churches shut down. One little virus, the schools shut down. One little virus, the businesses shut down. And at that time, the only businesses that were permitted to open were your pharmacies and your supermarkets. So it took us through the mill. We trust that by the same token that SARS came and went, Ebola came and went, all of this as well will disappear and will begin to try and revert to normal. So it has affected a lot of businesses. Staff have been laid off. Losses have been incurred. A lot of people were just in the survival mode. But it's over and it is behind us. So I think we must embrace the opportunity that we have now. Last year, as an entrepreneur, you had a lot of ideas. There was very, very limited things that you could do. Some organizations thrive. Those, of course, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the health industry, did thrive. The supermarkets that were open, they were the only convergence for individuals who could barely go out at that time. They did thrive. Some of the things that have occurred is that people have come to realize that there is something like remote working. I talked to some bankers and they tell me that, well, in the last 365 days or so, I haven't been to the office more than 4 or 5 times. Some people have really embraced the working from home. And it's just not a Nigerian phenomenon. Worldwide as well, people have arrived at the place where, they're working from home. People have talked about productivity levels that have declined as a result of that, but all those things are being attended to right now. So what are the facts about entrepreneurship in Nigeria? Primarily based on necessity. Like Tosi had shared earlier on, a lot of people, are trained for white collar jobs, those jobs or blue collar jobs, and those jobs do not exist. So what do you do? A man who can't, take care of his home is worse than an infidel. You made reference to that as well. So man, you got to get up. Woman, you got to get up. And people say that the propensity for business and for entrepreneurship is actually greater with women, because the woman is not going to sit down and just be looking at it. So you find that quite a significant number of our women are involved in entrepreneurship activities. Most of our entrepreneurs are operating in the city. So we're in Port Harcourt, we're in Abuja, we're in Lagos, Ibadan, and places like that. Nigeria's economic decline since the 1980s, he made reference to 1980s as well, has created a hostile environment that is not very favorable to entrepreneurship success. Infrastructure limits as well place significant challenge. You are, as a business owner, are literally your own local government. If you're not careful, you've got to tar, the road to your office, to your factory, to your church. I was reading something online about what Bishop Oyedepo is having to do to, tar roads, and I saw teams of engineers, well kitted up, tarring the roads to church. So you've got to tar the roads. You've certainly got to generate your own electricity. You've got to do your water as well, borehole, etc., and all those issues exist. So the high cost of doing business as well is a challenge. Venture capital to finance entrepreneurial activity is very, very difficult. But I love what I heard Prof saying, collaboration with the Bank of Industry. There's some angel investors that are out there that are able to provide finances as well. Government policies present a challenge. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have, applied for a BDC license. I just got my license. I've done my projections because I get so much dollar from CBN. I could sell at this markup. This is what it is. This is my revenue, other revenue lines. These are my expenses. And then, you start hearing rumors last week. A central bank is going to stop selling foreign exchange to BDCs. One of my bankers called me and said, Pastor, this is what we are hearing. They said the rate can move to this. It's not confirmed yet. But later that evening, it was all over social media. And the next day, the edict, as it were out there. So what happens to those who had invested in a BDC? So policy somersaults, a challenge around this environment. Lack of enforcement of Nigerian patent laws discourages entrepreneurs from commercializing their ideas. So it was really great listening to Prof and telling us, I think it was 21 patents that had been registered. Adulterated product is a significant challenge that we have around here as well. Constant political turmoil in the country limits foreign investors. 2023 is the next elections. A lot of times, a year before the election, there's little activity that's going on. Everything's about politics. And those things are just quite disruptive. The challenges, the policy upheavals, the inconsistency does not permit us attract the level of foreign investment that is required. They recognize our economy is huge, 200 people, very aspirational and all of that, but the foreign direct investment does not come here because of the instability and all the challenges that are around there. So many issues are the thing. So what are the things we need to do as entrepreneurs? I'm just going to run through, I think, about 10 or 12. Number one, vision. You must have a vision for what it is that you are doing. And I'm going to incorporate some scriptures here, because for me as an entrepreneur, a lot of what it is that I have seen have been predicated on my understanding of scripture and my application of scripture. So I cannot divorce what it is that we have done and we continue to do at Latina from the inspiration that scripture has provided. And I dare say we all have the things that inspire us. And so I'm sure everyone, if we took a poll, will have things as well. So this is not exhaustive, but I'm just going to share some. Number one, vision. You must have a vision for what it is that you want to do. And there are different sources of vision. The Bible says, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, reiterating the importance of vision. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Habakkuk chapter 2, it says, I will stand on my watch, set me on my tower, watch to see what he will say, and I will answer when I'm reproved. It says, and the Lord answered and said, write the vision, make it plain on tables, that he may run that readeth it. So that's what vision does. So I need a vision for my business. I need a vision for my entrepreneurial activity. And once I have that vision, it propels me. Once I have that vision, it drives me. Once I have that vision, it inspires me. So the place of vision very, very important. For us as an organization, the place of prayer, very, very important. The place of sensitivity to what it is that guides you. And we are very intentional. We pray for our suppliers. We pray for our customers. So at times, because we do a lot of distribution, I think 85% of what we sell is through other bookstores and other channels. And so they say, but what do you guys do? Because when we put your product on the shelves, it flies off the shelves. We're praying. We're very intentional about praying for those things. So we pray for customers. We pray for clients. We pray for suppliers. We pray for direction. Give us ideas. What are we supposed to be doing at this time? And the Bible says so. Matthew chapter 7, ask, it will be given unto you. Seek, you'll find. Knock, doors shall be opened. We place everything in the place of prayer. Philippians chapter 4. Be careful for nothing. Everything prayer, supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be known unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So in the midst of the pandemic, that was the sensitivity that was required. In the book-selling industry that has been challenged for God knows how long, 10 years. We've had issues with piracy. We've had issues with exchange rates. The overall apathy in reading. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Borders, the second largest chain of bookstores, shut down. Barnes and Nobles are surviving because they have equity investors come in and take over them. The Christian bookselling space, where we had significantly operated before, literally shut down. Years ago, we would have conventions twice a year, international conventions. We had them in the largest cities in the United States of America that had the largest convention centers. That doesn't exist any longer. So what change has come? So you have your plan A, like I said earlier on, when we're having these issues. There must be a plan B. There must be a plan C. There must be a plan D. And you are innovative all the time. And at times, the innovation that you require, the wisdom that you require, the knowledge that you require has to come from some source. Number 3, planning, the place of planning. Very, very vital. Even with your small business, your small entrepreneurial activity, is there a plan? Have you taken time to put a business plan together? If you can't afford one, find a friend. Find someone who knows someone who works in a consulting firm. Hey, these are my ideas, and then, hey, negotiate what you're going to pay when you're going to pay. At times, you can even give up some equity in your small venture, to that person who's helping you to do that. So please, we've got to be able to plan and set the target. Set objectives for yourself. You might not necessarily attain them, but it is said that, people don't plan to fail. They don't plan to fail. They don't intend to fail, but they fail to plan. And then that's what really, really happens. So please have your targets, monthly targets, category targets, that you've got to do that. And the Bible tells us very clearly, Luke chapter 4 from verse 28, says you don't desire to plan a building without sitting down and asking yourself, do I have the resources? You don't desire to go to war. You don't desire to find yourself in a space, in a particular sector, without thinking through, what is it that I require? Last year, we heard the term VUCA. And V stands for volatility, which is what was symptomatic, U for uncertainty, C for confusion, A for ambiguity. And we were made to realize that there's an antidote for each of those things. So for volatility, you must have vision. For uncertainty, you must have understanding. For confusion, there has to be clarity. For ambiguity, there has to be agility. And there's scriptures that associate with all of these. Vision, Proverbs 29, verse 12. Understanding, be like the children of Issachar, 1 Chronicles 12:32. Clarity, Psalm 119, verse 18. Open thou my eyes that I may behold wondrous things. Open my eyes, my business. Open my eyes. Let me see what it is that I need to understand. And then agility is Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 19. My feet must be like hinds' feet. I can't be stagnant. I can't be locked down, mentally, physically. Let me be agile. Let me think on my feet. Let me understand the opportunities that are out there and take advantage of them. Number 4, you've got to have systems. You've got to establish procedures, processes. 1 Corinthians 14:40, it says, let all things be done decently and in order. And no matter how your organization is, please try and put those structures in place. I had the benefit of having worked in, an accounting firm, worked in consulting for a while. I had, as an auditor, audited banks, audited manufacturing companies, audited airlines. So I understand, and as accountants, you work with process. So there's a process. You look at every company, what are their transaction types? So they sell, they buy. What are the transaction types? How do you initiate a sale? How do you initiate a purchase? How do you initiate, cash receipts, so I am process driven, literally in everything that I do. So you need to be able to have processes. So there's process for every aspect of your business. So you're not micromanaging, but these are the procedures. Can we ensure that these procedures are there? So for staffing, have procedures. Don't necessarily bring in your relatives and your friends. Have procedures, have some policies. How do you train your staff? What is your procurement? What are your sales targets? How do you deal with receivables? Is it everybody that comes and requests goods on credit that you give? No, have your policies in place. How about payments? Do you lodge all cash intact, or do you keep it so as an entrepreneur you can just dip into money? No, from day one I was paid a salary. The organization could not pay my salary initially, but so it was credited now. So just put it there whenever it is that we can draw it. Have procedures in place. Those are some of the things. Then deployment of technology. How do you utilize technology? Number 5, continuous acquisition of knowledge is vital. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3, Bible says, through wisdom is a house builder, by understanding it is established. By knowledge, its chambers are filled with all pleasant and precious riches. Wisdom, knowledge, your space, your sector. How are you gleaning the knowledge? Are you reading the press? Are you checking out the internet? Are you looking at trade publications? Are you looking at trade association? Is there a sector you're operating? Are you engaging with people who are players in that sector? So you can network, you can understand what's going on, and permit yourself to be coached, permit yourself to be mentored. There are things that people have learned. Are you reading? Are you acquiring knowledge? There are some books that I read that redefine some of the things that we were doing. I mean, the term infopreneur was gleaned from a book that I read. So you have entrepreneurs, but then you have people who are infopreneurs. Their business is to disseminate information. And then when we realized that when we got to that place, so, oh, wow, is that what we are? Okay, so there's a version of a book, it's in hardcover. Some people like the hardcover book. Yes, I want to give it out as a gift. I want it as legacy in my library. Some people want the paper cover book. I like the paper, it's cheaper. Then there's a mass market version as well. That's even cheaper. The paper is not so wide, it's available. Then there's the CD as well. This was, a number of years ago. So we began to understand those things. But some of those ideas were provoked as a result of the books that we read, some exhibitions that we attended. And so you realize you're constantly learning. An entrepreneur, you can't say, this is the way, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. No. That will lead to extinction, and one becomes a dinosaur. So knowledge, please, is so crucial. And there's so much information available on the internet now. So just Google, what are you looking for? I'm looking for this product. I'm looking for this supply. Google, the information comes up, and let's run with it. Number 6, data. I think Tosin has spoken about data. They said that data is the new oxygen today. So you must have data. You must know who is buying your product. You must know what product is selling the most. You must know the margins that you are making on different products. So with your resources, a lot of times there's a limiting factor. Your resources are limited. Maybe your ability, your cash to purchase, or even the credit lines that you have from your suppliers. So what do I invest in? What turns around the fastest? What can I bring in and the inventory turns 30 days? What am I going to bring in and the inventory turns are a year? And you are there staring at the product and you say, those are the things that we need to understand. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 23. The Bible says, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well. Have records. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have records. They see cash in the bank account and they think it's profit. It's not profit. It's your supplier's funds. So you need to be able to do that. Number 7, integrity. Integrity is such a huge thing. Psalm 25:21. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me. I wait on thee. Proverbs 11, verse 3. The integrity of the upright shall preserve them. Integrity is one of the things that has helped us to grow. When we started importing books and Bibles, I remember the second book fair I went for. I was dealing with somebody, Paul Van Dynen of Zondervan Publishing, a Dutch American, and I brought cash to pay for my order. It says, okay, this is the value of your order. So, okay, so can I pay you the cash? I says, no. Have you ordered before? I said, yes, I've ordered before. You even know me. He says, no, we'll run a credit check on you. There was no credit record, but they gave me credit. And based on that, I began to get credit. There was a time, some of our largest suppliers, we had credit lines of close to like $1 million. I mean, that was so many years ago. Of course, because the business has, reduced, they've had to shut down their lines. And of course, a lot of challenges in the industry. But really, we have grown by virtue of the credit that we get from a lot of our suppliers. Not all of them do, but a number of them do give us credit. And if there are issues with the credit, we explain to them. I remember there was some time, exchange rates had moved against us. We were owing Zondervan, one of our, suppliers, a lot of money. That morning, some people had come from, I don't know what task force it was. They went to the back of our office. There's a canal there. They started breaking the wall down. Mobile police went all over the place. And I was speaking to this lady that day, Jennifer, and she was saying, hey, Remy, you're owing money. I said, look, we will settle. Can you give us some time? He says, give me a plan, and let me know. And I told her what was going on. They were attacking us. I said, come, why are you laughing? I said, I have to laugh now. Just Proverbs 24 verse 10. Bible says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. So the day of adversity is going to come. The day of challenges are going to come. And she agrees, okay, let me tell me how you're going to pay. And I told her. And later that year, when I met her at the exhibition, my wife was with me. This woman was crying. Why was she crying? She was crying because this man said this is what he's going to do. And he has done it. So of course, that opened up for lines of prayer. And beloved, that's what it is that we have to do. Your suppliers understand they have product that they can make available to you. It's in their warehouse. They've not been able to sell it. But if they can trust you that the terms they give you, 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is, that you will pay, they will release the product to you. You will make your margin on it and then collect your cash and ensure that you pay it back to them. So, beloved, the place of integrity, so important. Proverbs 27, Bible says, the just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after it. Number 8, staffing recruitment. Please, so important. We've got to be careful. Don't get sentimental with recruiting staff. It's not going to be your brother or whatever. No. Bring people that are going to do the job for you. If you don't understand how to undertake a proper recruitment process, look for a friend who understands this thing. Come on with some kind of aptitude test. Do a proper formal interview. Look for a job description. This is what you got to do. This is my expectation of you. Look for key performance indicators. No matter how small you are, have your structure in place, literally, from Jump Street. And be careful. Look for the people that would add value. Matthew chapter 25 talks about the parable of the talents. The kingdom of God is like a man going on a journey, called his servants. Again, I give you 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. He says severally as he should. So he recognized the gift and graces in each one of them, and he gave them the assignment aligned with what their competence was. So we've got to do that. 1 Thessalonians 5:12. Bible says, know them that labor among you. You must understand the folks that you're working with. So your interview process has to be, well thought through. And like I said, we pray about everything. So even before we start interviews, we pray. And, recognize the fact that, yes, as an organization that's almost 30 years old, some people have come and added value. We are where we are today because people have added value. So, Lord, help us identify those kind of people. And you've got to do that. So please have proper structure in place. Let there be integrity. Try and have appraisals as often as you can so people can have feedback. So it's not when they misbehave, you now begin to issue memo. No. Let there be feedback. Let them talk. Hey, this is our assessment of you, and know what it is that you are doing. Try and motivate them. Try and reward. Try and coach. Try and mentor. Number 9, I have 2 more points, I think. Yeah. Number 9, self-application. As an entrepreneur, if you like 8 to 5, then stay 8 to 5. Entrepreneurship is not 8 to 5. The Bible says in Proverbs 24:30, I went by the field of the slothful, vineyard of the man void of understanding. It was grown over with thorns, nettles had covered. I considered 32. I looked upon and received instruction. A little sleep, little, not much. A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. It says, so shall your poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an armed man. Proverbs 22:13, the slothful man says, there is a lion outside, I will be slain in the street. This slothful man. You can't be slothful as an entrepreneur, and you are literally on call 24/7. You are working, you are thinking, and you've got to give yourself time to think. In an organization, there are different levels of activity. There's operational, there's tactical, there's strategic. You can't be involved in operational now. If you really want to grow, you've got to find people who understand that. You've got to train them, bring them to the place where they are. Train as a chartered accountant. We were exposed to training. There was a time I was in the US on exchange program. Training was part of the game. So they don't assume that, okay, you are a senior, you're now a supervisor, you know what to do. No. They don't assume that you're a supervisor and a semi, you know what to do. No. They take time to train. They take time to empower. They take time to equip you. And we must find a means of doing that. For us in Latana, every Thursday morning, we open an hour late. Why? Because we do training, staff training. So it's either staff training, that's done by people within. I mean, we sell knowledge now. So we can't be selling knowledge, directing everybody to where they will benefit and not try. So at times, hey, let's read this book. Let someone come and do a presentation. People like Faith Foundation, different people have, relatively inexpensive training. We send our people on training. For us, even in our province, because I have such a burden for empowerment, right from when Province 35 was created, about 11, 12 years ago, we set up an employment desk. So we have an employment bureau. As I speak to you now, there's a business masterclass that is going on. And business masterclass is like 5 weekends of training. I mean, I took 2 programs last week, the qualities of an entrepreneur, and then I took ethics in business. So we had different people, wonderful resource people. They teach on, writing your business plan, branding and marketing, legal aspects. I mean, all manner of things. And that's running on. And it's done for 10,000 naira. So it's highly subsidized. We know it is our own contribution to the economy. And then you are networking with people as well. You are challenging yourself. You're speaking to entrepreneurs, people who have gone ahead, very successful entrepreneurs, and they're going to share your stories. And then my final point, diligence, absolutely needed, and we are challenged. And like I said, everything for me goes back to the word. Proverbs chapter 6, the Bible says, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. She doesn't have a sheep, doesn't have an overseer or ruler, provides her food in the summer and gathers her supplies. Diligence, 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 diligence. And that's what the ant does. In the winter, there's nothing to collect. So even for us, can we try and do that? Do we eat with all our 10 fingers? Oh, so the highs and the lows will come. Like with Joseph in Egypt, the years of plenty will come and then the years of lack. We had years of plenty and we set aside. So when the years of lack came, for about 8 or 9 years, when it was so difficult in the bookselling industry, we were able to resource. We had done a bit of diversification and we were able to draw resources from there. And then, you maintain a lifestyle that is modest. Delayed gratification is good. Godliness with contentment is good. Don't join the rat race. Those who are in the rat race, even if you win the rat race, you still remain a rat. So manage yourself, remain calm, and keep your focus on the Lord. Proverbs 22:29 says, a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men. Brethren, I thank you again for this opportunity. I want to encourage you. I've shared a number of those things that, have helped us. And I trust that as we continue on this journey, continue to network, continue to open up our spirit to learn and be willing to apply ourselves, then surely the Lord will help us. We'll make a great success of whatever our endeavors are. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. To the Provincial Pastor, Christ Church, Lagos, and the CEO of Lantana Books. Pastor Remy Morgan is a father, is a mentor, is a lover of this country, and is a lover of youths. He has encouraged so many, and I am also a product. I want to say thank you for honoring us. Thank you for accepting to speak with the young ones. We are going to be taking questions, but before that, let me introduce Pastor Itua Igodalo, because when Pastor Morgan was starting his speech, he actually mentioned we appreciated the chairman and so many other people. So Pastor Itua is here, so I will so that we'll take the questions for Pastor Morgan and Pastor Itua at the same time. So Pastor Itua Igodalo, you are welcome to Young Leaders Entrepreneurship Conference. The pastor will join us now. He's with us, so he's warming up to join us. And please send your questions. Okay.
Good afternoon, I'm here.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome, sir.
How are you all?
Fine,
God
sir.
bless you and God keep you. I want to thank and appreciate the organizers of this program for putting together what I consider to be a very, very timely program at this stage and at this age in our country's history. I want to thank you for the energy and the efforts that you have put in. May the Lord bless you all in Jesus' name. I want to also thank my brother and my friend, my co-accountant and co-pastor, Pastor Remy Morgan, for all that he gave and he spoke. I almost forgot that Pastor Remy was an accountant in the days of ICANN, studying
Yes, sir.
ICANN, doing classes at Yaba Tech, going to
Yes, sir.
Unilag to read with water on the feet and things, and coming through the storms, through the finance houses, through the finance house storm, to
Yeah.
Freedom Hall, through all
Yeah.
the challenges of Nigeria, to the
Yes,
days
sir.
of bachelor's leaves all over the place, and
Can you
so on and so
imagine?
forth, until God arrested us and put us in ushering and all manners of things.
The
And then
apartment.
Latana Venture started. And I can proudly say that I was there when Latana Venture started.
That's
And
correct.
at the time, we made a little investment, but we were silly enough to pull out our investment. If I had known, we would have kept our investment there. By now, we'll be billionaires together. Is that not so? You know, the ability to see the future.
Yes.
The Lord will bless you, Pastor Remy. The Lord
God
will
bless,
strengthen
brother.
you and my sister, Pastor Yinka. And
Yeah.
God will help all these children. And God will help us in Nigeria in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Yeah. So I just want to talk very briefly, and it has to be a bit brief because I'm running 2-3 programs at the same time on the challenges of doing business, the challenges of doing business in a very, very challenging environment, I got the bits and pieces that Pastor Remy was talking about the policy somersaults, inconsistent policies, and all manners of things that we are facing in Nigeria. And that has been from time immemorial in this country, where you've had government who has done things inconsistently, not for the right reasons, but for different personal reasons and for different people that they had in mind. And that has been a very, very big challenge for a lot of people who seriously and genuinely wanted to do business and thrive. Never before in the history of Nigeria, never before in modern Nigeria, have we seen the level of people that have left Nigeria for mainly economic reasons. After the finance house crashes in 1993-94, a few people were exiled financially or economically, but not so many. Mostly people who were involved in finance houses and things like that. The rest of the economy remained reasonably stable. But today, almost everywhere and at almost every stage, people are looking for different passports. People are looking for opportunity to get out of Nigeria. People are trying to look for better places to practice their craft. And the reason is that the economic environment is hostile. The economic environment is unfriendly. The economic environment does not encourage business and business at any level. And we must do business. We must survive. Of this very challenging economic environment. First of all, what has made the economy so challenging? I'll talk first of all about the symptoms, and then we'll look at the causes. What do we have in this environment right now? We have an environment where we're not even so sure what the laws and what the policies are. A lot of us have not even studied them. Very few people have read the Constitution of Nigeria, and very, very many people do not understand what the operating business environment is according to the Constitution. This thing they call exclusive list, this thing they call state list and all that, people do not know. Few people know about the tariffs of importation and exportation. Few people know what the economic thrust and direction of Nigeria is. That's point number one. Number two, infrastructure is very weak, very poor. NEPA is a problem, or what they call PHCN or power is a problem. Number two, the roads are a problem. Number three, there's no real rail service. Number four, there's no artery roads and infrastructure. So that makes business very, very difficult. Number three, and very, very critical, is security or lack of it. Where there's no security, where people are not sure of their safety, it is difficult for them to go out to do business. Many villages, many towns now, Fulani headsmen all over hired as so it's almost impossible for people to do business. Foreigners cannot come because they fear for their safety. Locals cannot move around because they fear for their safety. So that also is a problem. What about the rule of law and justice? A place where a simple court case to settle a dispute takes years and years and years and years. A place where the judiciary is corrupt, a place where you don't know right from wrong and wrong from right, a place where you don't have a recourse as to who you can talk to when you have a problem is also a big challenge. Number 5 is information or lack of it. Information, business decision information is very scarce, it's not available. Number 6 is the ease of doing business, which we all talk about, the availability of quick registration, quick importation, internet network, environments where you can do this. And then number 7 is the quality of manpower at different levels. The quality of manpower at different levels is very difficult, very challenging. I'm sure Pastor Remy will tell you how very difficult it has been for him to find the right kind of staff to help drive his business. And if not for Christ and tenacity and keeping at it and knowing that there's nowhere else to go, I'm sure someone like him would have given up that business many years ago, because I'm sure that in his heart of hearts, it's probably not generating for him as much profit as the effort that he puts in. I know a lot of people who even started that same sort of business around the time that he started. One of them was in Christchurch. He packed up because he couldn't cope with the environment and the tariffs. So these are the challenges that we have in Nigeria. Number 8 is education, or a lack of it. Ignorance, education, or a lack of it all over the place. A lot of Nigerians are ignorant, they're not well educated, you can't speak to them on the same level, and so on and so forth. So these are the things that make Nigeria a very difficult and hostile place to do business. What are the causes of this hostility and this difficulty? Number 1 is government. Number 2 is government. Number 3 is government. Number 4 is government. Number 5 is government. Number 6 is government. And number 7 is government, where there's unrighteousness, where the wicked rule, the people are in distress, the people are in jeopardy, the people are in problem. And the role of government is to create an environment for people to thrive in their craft and thrive in their lives. The ruler of Dubai, and I keep referring to him, says the job of a ruler is to make his people happy. The job of our rulers is to make us unhappy. The job of our rulers is to make things difficult for us. The job of our rulers is to take care more of themselves than the average Nigerian. So we have been blessed in Nigeria, let me use that word, with a successive sets of governments since 1966 who have really not invested in the care and the well-being of the people, and they've not had the knowledge and the capacity. The second, or the 8th reason, according to my reckoning, is the people themselves. The people themselves. Nigerians have not come together to forge themselves as a nation with a common vision, common destiny, common direction, and common requirement. The people have been cowed into silence. The people are not able to express themselves. The people are not able to say exactly what they want as a people and as a nation. And then number 3, of course, is the judiciary, which has not played its role. And then number 4 is the financial system and the financial institutions that have not played their roles of being a catalyst, of development and nation building. This environment has created a very challenging situation where a lot of businesses fail, a lot of businesses do not thrive, a lot of businesses are not able to play their role. And then number 6 or number 5 is the insincerity of the people themselves. If you go to a lot of bankers, they will say people come, they borrow money, they misallocate the money, they misapply the money, they don't use it well, lifestyle, greed, a lack of understanding, and of course, a lack of vision. So these things have combined to make Nigeria a very difficult place. Yet Nigeria has all the potential. The weather is fantastic. The environment is fantastic. A lot of Nigerians are very, very intelligent, very smart, very hardworking. And then we are blessed with minerals and resources that a lot of nations envy. Benin Republic down the road there thrives only on their imports, on their ports authority. And 90% of their imports come into Nigeria. So Benin lives on Nigeria. A few years ago, I was in Ghana speaking to one of their leaders, and he said, since Nigeria had economic problem, the real estate sector in Ghana has dipped. It has dipped because it was Nigerians that were coming here to buy our real estate, and so on and so forth. Nigeria is the champion of West Africa, and I dare say Africa, even in spite of the difficulties. What then do we need to do to ensure that we turn situations around, even in Nigeria, and we as young people cope in this environment? Number one is God. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of God is the root of direction. You must hear from God in this very, very difficult environment, because if you do not hear from God and you think things is business as usual and as normal, you will fail. You will fail, and you will fail. You need to have business that is totally, totally directed by God, that leads on the instinct and the admission of God and the direction of God. So a lot of people who are doing business without the knowledge of God, without the fear of God, they're really, really, really running a risk, and a big risk at that. So the first thing is to fear God. The second thing is to study and understand the environment, the general operating business environment, and the specific environment as concerning your business. A lady was calling me the other day, asking desperately that I loan her some money because she had started a business, invested 80 million, and now she was short of money. And I asked her a few questions, and I came to the conclusion that the reason why she was desperate now was because she hadn't done her homework well. She hadn't done her homework well. So a lot of people go into business, they don't do their homework well, they don't study the environment, and they expect to succeed. It is almost impossible for you to succeed in an environment where you have no knowledge. Number three is hard work. Number three is hard work. You don't make money, you don't survive watching television, going to discotheques, going to parties, smoking and drinking, and wanting to think you can thrive. Pastor Remy mentioned something like delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is very, very important. Most Nigerians, you make money today, you spend it today, and you spend even much more than you have made, and then you make your business short of capital. So you need to work hard. You need to be frugal and sensitive and wise in your disbursement of resources. You need to live within your means, not above it, not over it. You need to cope with the environment that you found in. So you need to work hard. You need to work hard. Number four is training, retraining, and constant training, learning all the time, new ways of doing business, new ways of doing business. If you are not IT savvy today and you are thinking you can survive in business, you are wasting your time. If you can't use the telephone or the internet or social media appropriately, you are wasting your time. You need to be ready and open to change and new methods of doing business. Very, very important if you are going to survive. Number five is honesty. Honesty. And this is a difficult one for Nigeria, where almost everybody you do business with, especially and including in government, is corrupt, where they threaten you, where they don't allow you to do business, where you have to bribe to import, where you have to bribe to get licenses, where you have to bribe to get permits, where you have to falsify figures, where you have to tell lies, where you have to change your figures because of tax. It is very, very difficult in Nigeria. But let all sin is, but sin is a reproach. In the long run, with righteousness, with honesty, with being straightforward, you will win. It might be painful in the short run. You might go to prison like Joseph for being honest. You might be challenged and you may have difficulties, but I want to assure you that in the long run, you win. In the long run, you will win. Number six is determination. Determination, determination, determination. Aliko Dangote was saying the other day that business does not like people who start something and then change. Start something and then change. Start something and then change. Said business does not like them. He says, even when you make a mistake, stay with what you are trying to do. Don't try something else, because what you keep doing is having learning curves and not developmental experience. So you must be determined. Choose your path. Choose that you think God wants you to do, and be determined to run with it. And I want to assure you, you will succeed. You will succeed. You will succeed by the grace of God. And be close to government in terms of knowing exactly what government is doing, what direction they're doing, what they're expecting, what they need, what they're thinking of, and what they like. Business, you need to be close to government, because government controls a lot of resource and determines a lot of policies. If you are going to succeed in a very, very unstable environment, you need to have your ears to the ground, your eyes on your eyes in the front, and your hands on the plow. And finally, you will come back to God again. Come back to God again. Come back to God again, and check every decision by God. Don't be afraid. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and by God's grace, we will all succeed. Thank you very, very much for listening. And I must thank the organizers one more time, and all the speakers on this platform. May God bless you. May God enlarge your coast. May God answer our prayers, and may God make Nigeria a place where we all can thrive. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your conference. As for the questions and answers, Pastor Remy will answer all the questions on behalf of both of us. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Okito.
Hey, Baba, Ekola, you're looking
Awesome.
very, very well.
It's your prayers. It's your prayers.
Bless you.
Good to see you. We must. We must.
We must catch up. There are a few things to run through. Okay.
Okay.
Bless you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care,
Thank you.
We sincerely want to thank our speakers, our fathers, our mentors for doing justice to the presentation. We really appreciate you. Thank you for making time out of your very busy schedule to be here today, and for doing a very thorough presentation. We sincerely appreciate. And to show our little appreciation, we will be visiting you and other speakers. The team will be visiting you and other speakers to present an appreciation plaque very soon.
No wahala. Thank you.
So, do we have anyone with questions for our speakers? Kindly signify and drop your questions in the chat section. Thank you. We are expecting your questions, please.
So MC, I think we have someone. Okay. You have questions?
Okay. We have a question for you, sir, Pastor Remy Morgan.
Okay.
Oludare Adedotun asks, how can the young people choose role models safely? How can the young people choose role models safely?
Okay. Well, thanks. A very valid question. Of course, every environment has its issues, and you need to be careful about, who you request or who you approach to be your role model. And I think in the light of that, I know a number of organizations have like a formal mentoring program. So, for instance, the Lagos Business School, for instance, has a mentoring program. So, for people who attend their programs, if you want a mentor, they have a formal system by which they match mentors and mentees. Faith Foundation used to do a fantastic aspiring emerging entrepreneur programs. And they would also assign to want to operate in a particular space. You know, they would look for, they had a pool of mentors and they would assign those kind of mentors. One has to be careful. You know, they all have advantage of you because you have approached them as a mentee. If you are, if you really understand what it is that you want, I think you can approach some people. I've had people approach me as well, and they've asked me, can I be your mentee? And of course, it's very, very difficult. So even at times people can see or whatever. And I have very competent people who have been with me for quite a number of years. My number two has been there for about 19 years. My head of sales has about 17 years. Head of IT, about 18, 19 years. So what I do is I just introduce them to those people. We have IT issues, your folks talk, this is the person that can attend to you. And that's what I take first. I mean, we have a 24-hour program that's taking place right now. You know, the folks are there. The truth is I might not have the time, you know, but I will spend some time and then engage them and say, well, I'll talk to this person and WhatsApp message because I can't, you know, all the time pick up my phone. I've been on this for the past couple of hours. So, I mean, I'm not going to take any phone calls, you know, at times like this. So you can approach the people and then understand what a mentor-mentee relationship is. You know, some people think as a mentee, I can make all manner of demands and things like that. Because program, they give us guarantees, share vision, and, you know, you have specific things that can be done. And, you know, even churches, I mean, I know that even for some of the things we do in church as well, we have mentee mentor programs. So I think you can approach the people, but you must understand what it is. And so even if they ask you, or you in approaching them say that this is what I'd like to glean from you, and just communicate. I mean, a lot of people, even if they don't have the time, they can assign you to somebody else who can at least assist you. So you're not left totally in the dark or totally in the dark.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
I hope that answers the question. Okay. Okay. Someone is interested in the business class advertised by Pastor Remy. Can I have more details? Okay, Soji is online. Soji, my PA. Soji, can you send the link, please, to the business master class? And like I said, it's highly subsidized. It's 2,500 per week, but for the entire course, it's 10,000 naira. And even if you have missed, because the second course is running today, I think it runs from maybe like 10 o'clock till 5. There's still a lot of material to be gleaned, and the slides will be available if you register for the entire thing, and they'll make it available to you. So, Soji, please, if you don't mind, can you provide the link for that? Can we do that, please?
Okay, I'll forward to Sanjay and then give to his technical guys to project.
Okay. All right, so Soji, let's attend to that, please. Yeah.
Okay.
How can we start a business without adequate funds? To start a business, you must have some resources. I mean, people ask that question. Ideally, you should have some resources. Those resources can be what? From savings, if you have savings. It can be from family members. The family can, you know, assist you with some resources, some finance to start up a business. I don't necessarily advise that people go and borrow money unless it's an interest-free loan. But even if it's an interest-free loan, we have to be, you know, deal with it with the greatest amount of integrity. And you must plan. You know, like Pastor Itwa said, someone had invested 80 million in a business and she's, you know, panicking and looking for additional funds. 80 million is a lot of money. So by the time you answer some questions, realizes that she did not really do an appropriate business plan. So one has to be able to do that. I mean, and there are ways, you know, I mean, Pastor, I think it was Joseph that mentioned, you know, angel investors. There are a number of scenarios that are out there that can enable, can grant access to funds. But if you are looking for funds, anyone would want to see that you have invested some funds yourself. So there is a risk component in it. I mean, if you're just going to take funds from different people, then there's no risk. You are associated, and I don't think any wise investor would just give you funds like that. You must. I mean, of course, at times there's what we call sweat equity. So if you have set up a business, you've done all the research, you've done the business plan, there's a component of that that represents equity, but sweat equity rather than, financial equity. So at times you're going into businesses, you can do that. And another thing that one can do, if you want, is to look for a kind of partnership. Look for a kind of partnership. You have a great idea, put it together, let people scrutinize it for you, and then you can approach people. There are people that have funds, hey, and they want to invest, make those support ventures. I don't know that the very sophisticated venture capital market, but that's what happens in a lot of countries. And the venture capitalists come in, they provide funds for the business, and they find a way to get bought out. The prices escalate, and then they go up. And have your good business plan. Have your resources. If you can have public resources, you can do that as well. And then you can approach people if you have a good business plan. But you must know who you approach. Some people are just sharp. I tell you, if you're going into partnership with someone, don't go into partnership with someone that does not have another means of livelihood. Let that person have his own means or her own means of livelihood. So they're not looking at generating or at having returns immediately from your venture. Look for people, might be an elder in church, might be a family member, but people you can trust. Because at times you present ideas to people, they run with your ideas, they take all the information, and then they just, even it's been said about, finance people. They get all your information, and then they go and do the business. So one has to be said that. That's why Pastor made mention, emphasize the place of prayer and the place of God. God will direct you along those lines. But if the idea is there, is bankable, then, you can really try and get some people to do that. Yeah. Next question. How can you explain to someone who doesn't have a good entrepreneurship skill but wants to be an entrepreneur? Well, the truth is some people are very great, competent, great, they have knowledge. But then what it takes to be an entrepreneur is not just that. You've got to be tenacious. You can't be easily disappointed. You've got to be confident enough to ask people. There are some people that cannot ask people who are owing them for money. They can't ask. They can't ask. They can't ask for money. Oh, sorry. This is my bill. When am I going to get paid? Some people can't do that. So if you don't have or if maybe you're advising someone, maybe it's a friend, a family member that wants to go into entrepreneurship, you can share with them. And what you do at times is advise people to align with others. So if I have the skills, if I have the ideas, but I can't engage people, I can't talk to third parties, then you need to do that. So Pastor Itwa, apart from all these organizations, runs CIAO. CIAO is the accounting firm. I know his partners, Ladi Smith, who else is there? I think it is Oyin Culture. So it's a partnership of people. So there's what you can do, there's what I can't do. So we have different companies. That's why people come together and form partnerships. So in some partnerships, some professional partnerships like law firms or accounting firms or architectural firms, somebody is the brain, someone is the genius, can get the work done. There's a thorough professional. Someone is the outgoing partner that goes out, that knows the people in government that can get the job, that knows the member of Metropolitan Club, the member of the Ikoyi Club, that does a lot of networking. So it's a combination. And by the same token, that in any serious organization, you have directors. So someone is in charge of finance, someone is in charge of marketing, someone is in charge of IT, someone is in charge of, whatever other, competence that's required. Then at times, you want to be able to do that. So the fact that, yes, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't have, can I put people together? Can I have a team of people that can work together? Of course, that's very challenging in this environment because, you start and then different people have different ideas. So even if you're going into partnership or you're going to business, you need to sit down and draw the agreement. Hey, what are the rules here? What's going to guide us? And it is good to do that before you commence. And we've all agreed. And then, you've got to know the people you are working with. The Bible says, can two work together? Amos 3:3, except they be agreed. You must know that there is an alignment. It's great. Friends have gone into a business that they thought were very good friends, but hey, issues arose, So we've got to be careful. And like I said, please, if you are bringing an investor, let that person have the means of livelihood. So they are coming in as investors. They're coming in, that this is what it is. Not that they're going to come in and they want this and want this, yeah? As an entrepreneur, how can we be different and better than our competitors? You've just got to continue to learn, what exactly is going on. So from time to time, you carry out a SWOT analysis. Even if you don't formally carry out a SWOT analysis, you are thinking that all the time. What is the SWOT analysis? What are my strengths as an organization? What are advantages that I have over other people? You need to ask yourself that. What are my weaknesses? I don't have enough working capital. My location is not a great place. I don't have some skills. What are the options? Okay, what's the landscape? What can we do now? I mean, into importation of nose masks, manufacture of nose masks. They saw the opportunity there. Now there's an opportunity, but what's the threat? What is my competitor doing? What is their landed cost? Am I going to be competitive with them? If I'm going to import, I want to distribute, I'm not going to sell in my shop. Let me understand what the market price is in the market. Not, I went to Hartley Supermarket, I went to Grand Square, I saw a price. That price you saw there is not the price you're going to be able to sell at if you want to be able to supply them. So all those things need to be done. So your SWOT analysis, your market intelligence. At times you can go as a mystery shopper, you look at your competitors. What are they doing? What is the price of their product? You need to be able to do that. And there's no apology. That is part of business strategy. Market intelligence. What are your competitors doing? What are the strengths that they have over you? Some people are bringing their product it's coming from the UK, it's coming from Kenya. This is the landed cost, it's high. I realized that, okay, Turkey is doing, cheaper prices and the same quality. The guys in the UK themselves are probably manufacturing in Turkey. So knowledge, information, and that's why, the space you're operating in, are there exhibitions that I can go to and attend? Can I figure out, for us in the book selling, they had the Nigerian International Book Fair at Harbour Point. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was there on 2 days. Normally, I don't usually go for those days, but I was there just to try and figure out and learn what's going on. My staff were there. We had a whole team of people that were out there. Why? Not that we don't have work to do in the office, but you've got to be learning and be exposed to what's going on all the time. I used to travel a lot. We used to have exhibitions abroad. You go there, you meet people, you network. What's going on? Yeah, you negotiate. I want to buy from you, but I understand somebody said, can you give me a lower price? I'm paying cash up front for you. So that's what it is. There's nothing that's cast in stone, but we must constantly be learning, must constantly be open to the Spirit. Permit the Holy Spirit direct you. At times, someone is just going to give you a lead. You're going to have, and that's why you've got to be friendly with everybody. Some people just drop something casually that can make a difference in what it is that you are doing. Okay? Can you explain how best to network as an entrepreneur and get more people involved in your business? When you say more people involved, is it as customers? Like I said, we were at the exhibition the other day, and a lot of people come and they visit the exhibition and they, get to know about us. Pastor spoke of the place of social media. Social media, very, 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 very important. For us in Latina, we do retail, but retail is 15-20% of our business. The bulk of our business is wholesale. So how do you reach out to those customers? We are very aggressive in going out. Who are the potential customers? We go out there, we write proposals, we're writing proposals all the time to be able to engage. So even last week, we took on, what is it called now? A marketing communication manager. We have a whole bunch of managers, sales managers, IT managers, audit manager, accounts, inventory. We have so many, but we have a sales and marketing. But we realized that there was a vacuum in our organization. And how did it happen? Someone advertised a digital marketing course, highly subsidized. I don't know how much it was going to cost, maybe 10,000 naira. So we had about a number of people from Latana attended. I also had a lot of people from church attending because church has to be. So our information team, our communication team. So we are learning all the time. So as a result of that 1 week program, I was very impressed by the facilitator. So I engaged him thereafter. And I said, look, can you come and help us look at our social media space? What are we doing? He came in, he did an analysis. He didn't even come in physically. It was online. Did the analysis. I've looked at your Instagram page. I've looked at your YouTube. I've done this. And he gave us advice. then we now began to look at our staff competence. Do we have the competence to execute this plan? Because we realize that we have great product, we have imported product, we have good quality product, but are we maximizing the space, the opportunity? Wholesale, not bad. There are strategies we have implemented for wholesale, but for retail, we're not doing enough. And we realize that retail, so he explained to us that for your wholesale, it's a push strategy. You are going out there. But for retail, it's pull strategy. Via your social media, you're engaging them, you are creating a community. Do we have the community? We have a few people, but it was not well coordinated. So he went ahead and we went ahead, send us candidates. We'll pay you to recruit staff for us. And he did. And we have, a communication plan that just started last week. So all our initiatives and all of that, we need to move it to another level. So this gentleman that has been brought in, that's his assignment. So you are learning all the time. And customers, like I said, we go out there. We used to sell through bookstores before. A lot of bookstores shut down. We realized that there's some of our products that, some supermarkets like. So we began to increase that category of products that we sell to supermarkets. Then we went out and engaged the supermarket. Now, getting into some of those guys is difficult. There's some people that are gatekeepers. They're not going to let you. So we realized that we need to go beyond the purchasing manager. Does someone know the MD? Does someone know the GM? And then introduction, network. You get to talk to them and you tell them this is your service that you're providing. And if it's a serious organization that wants to benefit and indeed your product can add value to them, eventually you get in there. So it's hard work. Some of those folks, we went after them 2-3 years. There are some 3 years later, they haven't. You're working with somebody else who has those gears, who has the ability to talk to anybody, who has the ability to, you said anything, I just brush it off and I'm moving on. And then the influencers, I think you pay them. We've used them once or twice. My older daughter, so she has a number of people that she has seen, much, much better coordinated. And that's why we've taken on this manager to come and help us drive that space. Yeah. Knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out? Is there anything I would have done? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. For us, we didn't just jump into, I'd worked in audit accounting for a while, then I brought on the same program, etc. So I worked in this company. Things didn't quite work out. So I went and I set up on my own. I set up my own small investment company. And okay, let me tell you how it happened. So it was in 1994. 1993 was June 12th. Aborted elections, MQ Abiola. 1994 was the first anniversary of the elections. And it was at that time, I was a worker, like Pastor Itwa said, we were both in Freedom Hall. I think I was maybe minister in charge of ushering. He was head usher or something like that. And then we started Bible school. So it was the first step in Bible school. I went to Bible school in 1994. Now, the first anniversary was when I was in Bible school, June 12th. We were in Bible school, I think, from February to like August. So in June, everything just shut down. Like Occupy Nigeria, like this NSAS, you couldn't get to your office. You got to your office, you bought black market fuel in your car. When you go to the office, black market diesel, and everything was literally shut down. And I was asking the Lord, what do I do? And like I said, as a child of God, you got to be prayerful. And, God asked me, he said, hey, the Life Application Bible that was recommended for Bible survey in Bible school, did you find it? I said, no. He said, did anybody in your class find it? I said, no. So it was like, so what are you praying about? So I looked in the bank account, I saw the money that was there, and I took it, and I went up to the UK. I spent 3 weeks in the UK. I was staying with my brother in East London. I would pick up Yellow Pages, the directory, Bible manufacturers, Bible publishers. Can I have your catalog? Or I'm thinking of doing this, importing Bibles in Nigeria. Oh, not a bad idea. Who else do you recommend? And just conversation. They gave me contacts. Then I mentioned to one of them, I'm thinking of continuing my quest in the UK. The guy said, if you are thinking in the US, he said, if you are thinking of the US, you better be going. Because if the Bible is £40 here, it's $40 there. And the dollar is a weaker currency. I went to the US, and the same thing. Same thing. I will go into a bookstore. I had a red notebook. I'll look at the Bibles. I will note the publisher. I will get back to my friend's place and call them up. They'll send me catalogs. By the time I was coming back, after 6 weeks abroad, I came with my first consignment of life application Bibles. That's how it started. And I tell people we are grown by responding to what people ask for. So people said, Bibles, okay, can you get me Christian books? We went to look for it. Can you get me children's book? We went to look for it. I would like business titles. Some of the Christian publishers were publishing Christian business titles. I had to wait on God to get a release before I started doing the business titles. And I could do that because we took, I think, the second building. So I could move the business books upstairs. Then thereafter, I like gift wrap. Can you give me gift wrap? I want to wrap and take the present. Oh, can you get me a birthday card? I want to give this to somebody. We did. That's what we did. And then I told you recently, when we realized bookstores were closing down, what do the supermarkets buy? They buy children's books. Okay. And what else would they like? They would like stationery. And what else would they like? They would like journals. And one thing led to another. So we are broadened the range of what we do. So I don't say we're a bookstore. Before, our payoff line was serving you, serving here. Light up your world came after that. Now we say we're a lifestyle store for book lovers because we are doing home fragrances, we are doing scented candles, we are doing framed art and things like that people want, Christians want in their homes. So we're making it available for them. So Innovate or Die is one of the books that we sell. So you can't stay in one spot. And it's really in being open to the Spirit. Or at times you're having a conversation with someone, hey, have you considered this? Or you've gone to an exhibition. You look at what are the people doing here? Why can't I do the same thing? Do I think this will fly? And then you start experiment with a few things. And you'll be fascinated because we have a lot of people in Nigeria, 200 million. So there's effective demand for quite a number of things. So those are the things that we continue to do. I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We certainly thank you for your time, for your patience, and for taking your time to attend to all the questions. So over to Mr. Tosin for proper application speech.
Thank you so much, our dear daddy, Pastor Morgan. I'm aware of your very busy and tight schedule today, but because of your love for the young ones and the youth, the entrepreneurs, you had to make time out to join us for this program. Let me say that to all our participants who have registered, we'll be sending the slide prepared by our father, Pastor Morgan, to you. It can also help you. Some people who joined late or are having epileptic internet. So on behalf of the team, Pastor would say thank you. We'll visit you to present an appreciation plaque. We'll have done that online here, but there's no way to get to you. So we'll definitely bring it down to your office to appreciate you for. That's how we do, so that to be there. So thank you so much. We appreciate once again, sir, for your time. God bless you, sir. And also, please, immediately after the last presentation, I need to tell us that we are going to go into breakout rooms. And at the breakout rooms, we are going to network, tell us what you do, meet the next person. Everybody should introduce themselves, what they do. If you are a business owner, what do you sell? The breakout room will be made available for that. And we assure you that by 2 p.m. exactly, we shall be rounding up. So over to the MC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we proceed to a section tagged e-commerce for us, how it works, which is going to be handled by Mr. Damilare Odumosu of All Farmers Online. So by way of introduction, Mr. Damilare Odumosu is the CEO of All Farmers Online, an e-commerce tech startup, which allows sellers and buyers to meet online and transact business. Mr. Odumosu holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Lagos and University of Brunswick, Canada. Please make welcome Mr. Odumosu for his section. Thank you. We sincerely apologize for the delay while we expect Mr. Udumusi for his section. Kindly hang on.
While we are waiting for Mr. Odumosu, let me just chip this in. I said this at the Young Leaders Entrepreneurship Conference we had in Akure last week. A lady approached me that she wanted to be a decorator, and she's a core member, and that she needs like 50,000 naira to register to learn how to decorate, and she's very sure that she's on her way to become an entrepreneur. Go and pay 50,000 naira to learn how to decorate. She felt insulted that if I'm not going to give her the 50K, then there's no need telling her that does she need money, that people that have money are too stingy. And I asked a question from her: are you a Christian or a Muslim? She said she's a Christian. I said, which church do you belong to? She mentioned the church. And I asked her, do you have a decoration unit in your church? She said yes. I said, why don't you join the decoration unit, offer your service, be learning as they are doing it, go for meeting session, and at the end of the day, you become a good decorator without paying a dime by volunteering. She looked at me again, and she left in annoyance. Now, if I had given her the 50,000, she would have smiled. She would have spent the money for her personal use, and the money would have finished within a day or 2 or 3. But now, that advice might have bet out something, because if she had actually gone there and she goes for their meeting every day and she learned how to do it by volunteering, she would have become someone better. She would have known how to relate with a team, because even as an entrepreneur, you need people to work with you, to learn under you. And that is the area where leadership comes in. If you don't have the leadership ability, it will be difficult for you to manage people. And as a leader, sometimes you need to put yourself in a servant position. You need to be very open to let people working with you understand. Now, for example, a friend of mine that's an entrepreneur sold a particular product for 3 million naira. I remembered when he was looking for 2.5 million naira to pay for that particular goods. Now, his gain on that 2.5 million naira is just 500,000, making 3 million naira. So, the people that are now working with him, they are like 10. 2 of them now came to where I was sitting, and they said, this person is a bad person. He sold something of 3 million naira. He cannot share 200,000 for all of us. People are wicked though. And I asked him that, how is he wicked? That when he was looking for 2.5 million naira to buy the product, are you the one that borrowed it? He said no. I said, automatically he's going to return 2.5 million naira out of the 3 million. Then the remaining 500,000, I'm sure he's going to still appreciate all of you. Then he also needs some small money to continue in the business. If not, the business is going to die. So that is what so many people who are interning under you or volunteering under you don't understand. So you as a leader, you need to explain to them to understand that the capital you are using is either borrowed or lent somewhere, so that they will know. But they don't think like that. They feel that you sold market, you should share the money and so on. But I believe as more people come up on board to be entrepreneurs, we'll get to learn all about this. So I think we hand over to All Farmers Online CEO to go ahead with his presentation. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that introduction. And basically, today we just want to be able to let you show what we're all about in All Farmers Online. And we are here to be able to give the value that is needed when it comes to agricultural produce. And I'll be sharing my screen briefly now to show you some of the basic things that we have to offer on All Farmers Online. Please just let me once be able to see my screen. Thank you. 1 minute. Is anybody seeing the screen, or is there any screen that's?
So the screen came up and is no longer showing.
The screen is up now.
That's about the Okay, so we are waiting for the screen to come up so that they can give us their presentation. Please, while this is going on, please don't forget that the program will soon be ending, and after this presentation, we're having a breakout session. Please let's get to know ourselves. If you have any questions or you have any inquiry or any of the speakers whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send an email to yolekup@gmail.com or send a DM on all our social media handles to be ready to answer all your inquiries. Once again, thank you very much for your patience, for being part of this edition of 5th Years Internship Conference. Thank you.
Sorry, please bear with me.
Okay, so the video is still coming up. So why the video is still coming up? As from next week, we'll be sharing some grant opportunities for entrepreneurs, be entrepreneurs. So please just hook up to all our social media to get information on all these things. And if there's still
Please, I think there's I'm not able to share my screen. Yeah, please, if anyone else can share their screen. My screen is disabled.
So you should be able to share the screen.
Okay, great. I can't hear anyone on the call.
You know, people are muted.
Just go ahead to avoid
Okay, perfect.
to avoid any interference.
Okay, thanks.
You can go ahead.
So all farmers online is stated to be able to bridge the gap between the farmers and the customers. And you can imagine that during the pandemic, there's been more situations where the farmers have not been able to go to the market like they normally do. And so basically, next slide, please. And so who we are All Farmers Online, and the business rationale is to look at the wastage in Nigeria, which is over 60%. And so we're using the online e-commerce store to ensure that we are able to provide a platform for farmers to meet their buyers and ensure that we're able to reduce the wastage. Next slide, please. So because of that, we've been able to identify the business opportunities if we're able to organize the information flow, financial flow, and the material flow of the agricultural produce along the supply chain. And so our niche market is to see how we're able to, first of all, remove or reduce the information gap between the farmers and the necessary buyers or consumers. Next slide, please. And so basically, we've been for 4 years now, both in Canada and Nigeria. And here in Canada, we're able to leverage the ICT technology. But we've been going through a lot of understanding the terrain and gathering the necessary data about the farmers, data about the challenges they face. And as you can imagine now, global warming has played a very major factor in terms of how the farmers are able to produce their agricultural produce. And when it comes to Nigeria also, another key factor that I need to mention is the insecurity that has plagued the nation in terms of the farmers not able to visit their farmlands. Next question, please. So basically, everywhere it affects every one of us. The prices of farm produce have never been this high ever. We've recorded a record high of agricultural produce across the world, and it's not just limited to Nigeria. But I'm sure that if I may ask any one of you on the call on how food prices has been, it's not been very, very consistent. And this is due to the fact that there's a lot of challenges in the supply chain. And that's what we are here for, to try to mitigate the challenges in the agricultural supply chain by using technology to release information out there and make sure that we're able to easily move the farm produce. Next slide, please. So our solution is to work with the farmers, the market sellers, and ensure that we have that data. So with the data, those that want to buy are able to meet those that want to sell agricultural farm produce. Let's take, for instance, you want to get 27 kilograms of yam tubers, and you want to be able to move them from the north central down to the southwest. And so usually you have a situation where you have to move from the southwest, go to the north, meet with the farmer before you then buy the produce and bring it back to the southwest. But with All Farmers Online, you go to the website, you're able to leverage our platform, you can see the produce, the farmers that are there, you make the necessary purchase, and then we are able to leverage that database and ensure that you get it in the southwest and you don't have to go to the north central to get your farm produce. Next slide, please. Right now, you can order online. You can also meet us on our Instagram, Facebook. You can also call our phone number to ask more questions. And so basically, for example, we have produce that cut across yam tubers, rice, sorghum, millet, whatever it is, either for export purposes or for your personal consumption. We are there for you, and we encourage subscriptions. And this is because, for example, for those who have been purchasing from us, they've been compiling points, and those points will be used can be redeemable either for cash gift, redeemable for free delivery, redeemable to even get much more farm produce in the future. And so for us here, we have partnered with Yolek because we believe that there's value in collaboration. And so this is how our website looks. And we have our customers every Friday and Wednesday that have received their orders at home. And so either they are coming from work, they don't have to go to the market before they get produce. And so if you're on this call, I have good news for you. And that is because we have the AFO Yolek coupon. And what that simply means is that while you're on this call today,
this coupon gives an opportunity to get at least 10% free on any order you're going to make. And so, but this is a situation where for today, it is 20%. So using the coupon today, you get 20% on any produce you order on our platform. And once it's later than today, it becomes 10%. So for us to be able to continue to give you the point as you order on the website from 200 points for your first order, we just need to visit the website now, create your profile, and then you keep on earning the point for you to redeem. Next slide, please. So these are some of the produce we have. We have the singles pack, we have the family pack, we have the silver amper, we have the gold amper. Essentially, what all of this does is to see how for the singles pack is 10,000 naira. Probably just want to get your produce for the 2 weeks, and we have it all in there. For the family pack also altogether is 30,000 naira. And essentially, it just gives you a sense of, okay, every month I'm able to make this available for my feeding. And as you know that we at All Farmers Online, we promote that healthy lifestyle. And so we ensure that our produce are of the best quality to ensure that we fuel your energy to carry out and make more money out there. Thank you. Please, next slide. So whether it is small order, big order, we are there for you. We are always there to deliver to you. These are live pictures of our customers receiving the orders, and we will deliver to you anywhere. When we are glad that we are speaking to University of Lagos students. And so anywhere, talk to your friends, talk to family and loved ones, and get referral point for referring someone else. Use the, don't forget the code AFOULEC. You get 20% off today. After today, you get 10% off for using the code. Next slide, please. So for farmers and vendors, do you have a farmland? Do you have someone who has a farmland? Are you looking to sell your produce to exporters in Canada, sell your produce to exporters in Europe, or you are looking to be able to deliver to large companies such as flour mills? You could go to All Farmers Online today and register as a vendor, take pictures of the farmland that you have, give us the sizes, give us the description of the farmland, and let us help you sell your produce. Next slide, please. Yes, any questions generally so far before we round off this presentation?
Okay, Mr. Odumosu, thank you. You have a question from Mr. Omolesho, and the question is, what are the things you are doing for your platform to be known to rural farmers, and most especially farmers who are illiterate? I hope you got that.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I think that's a fantastic question, Mr. Omotosho.
No, Omolesho is the name. Omolesho.
Omolosho.
Omolesho.
Omolesho. Thank you so much.
Yes, Omolesho.
Thank you so much, Mr. Omolesho. And it's a great question because, like I said, we've been established for 4 years now, and we've been able to leverage what we called corporate farmers and cooperatives. And so the one way we've been able to reach the rural farmers is by leveraging the cooperative society, such as Fadama Farmer Association, even here in Lagos. And we have been able to reach them through the leadership of the organization. And therefore, we've been reaching to them using the cooperative society. And that's where we've been able to verify our farmers for quality assurance and also to ensure that we sensitize them. Yeah, thank you.
So, Mr. Omolesho, I hope the response is appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So you can proceed, Mr. Odumosu.
Yes. If there's no other question, next slide. Is there any other questions? You can send us a message in our DM on Instagram. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter and Facebook. And please, if you have any questions on how to order for your fruits, for the packs, if you want to, for example, get on a subscription for 6 months where you know that, okay, the food price does not fluctuate. This is the cost of produce I'll be buying for the next 6 months, and I'm not going to have to keep going to the market. Then I think today is your lucky day. So all you need to do is to send us a message. You can call our number on 0817 0004236. Once you call us, we are able to set you up for a 6-month subscription, and we will be happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. If there's no other question, we're looking forward to answering other questions on allfarmersonline.com. Order today for your 20% off on AFO leg, and order next time for 10% off. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks so much, Mr. Udumosi, for your time, and thanks for the offer you have extended to the participants. So next is we head over to the breakout section, which the convener, Mr. Tosin, is going to be overseeing. So over to you, Mr. Tosin Adeshile.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So in the next 20 minutes, we should be rounding up. So let's just, entrepreneurs, let's get to know ourselves, going for the breakout session. We'll be having, let's say 4, we're having 4 automatically. So we have opened the room. So So we're waiting for others to join us after the breakout session. We'll be rounding up in a short while. So if you have any general questions, kindly prepare them. Okay, so for those that are back, I believe you must have learned one or two things. We are talking about successful entrepreneurs, and there are so many people who are successful. Somebody just introduced himself as a fashion designer. He's also a graduate of a school, and he was able to tell us one or two things that he's doing. Yeah, we also have somebody from our group who is selling alcohol removed wine. The alcohol removed wine is, he said the alcohol removed wine is good for the body. That if you sleep and you have a dream of the date that you are going to die, and you take that alcohol removed wine, the day of your death will be shifted forward. It doesn't have too much sugar, and it doesn't have alcohol. So, and it's called Frey wine. So I guess we have a whole lot of other entrepreneurs in the house who are into one or two. We have someone also who is also into shoemaking. Person can make lovely shoes, and is also a graduate of a university. He feels that the work of hand is also good for him to be able to experiment some of the things that he's doing. So we have that as well. So we are waiting for people from room 1 to join us, people from room 3 to join us. Room 1, room 2, and room 3, room 4 are already done. So we are expecting them to round up so that they can join us while we make the program. Okay, I can notice that some people were unable to join any group. Let's see. Okay. Mr. Valerie Akoni, you didn't join any group. Hope no problem. Then Mr. Adebusu, you didn't also join any group. Okay, so the room 1, room 2, room 3 are still in session. So while we are waiting for them, the take home after today's program is that you can see the high points of the program is the session that brought in Pastor Itua, and you can hear most of the things he said, that you can remember the day of little beginning when he and Pastor Morgan were still running about when they first started Latana Ventures. They put some money, later they removed the money. Felt, oh, if you had known that the company would be so big like what it is now, you have still put his money there so you can be getting more profit. So life is all about taking risk, and then life is all about doing everything possible to ensure that you don't throw away your trial period. People have trial period, and those trial periods are the time for people to work on themselves. At the beginning of the program, I gave an example of so many people. I have a series of friends that were what they are selling. People that they are friends, they don't know about it. They still go about to go and invest the money by giving it to other people, which actually is not meant to be. So it's always good that we understand the essence of true living by patronizing ourselves. That's why I said, whatever you are selling, ensure people around you know about it. Don't just leave your WhatsApp status or your social media page for the fun of posting. Let it be for promotion of what you sell. Let people know you for what you do, and don't let it just be you selling things without actually telling another person. So at this junction, I think we should be closing all the rooms. We should be closing all the rooms. We have already sent a message for them to round up. So lastly, the yolecublimited.org, they have some programs for entrepreneurs. There's one for people who are been in business for 5 years and above, who want to polish their entrepreneurship skills. Those ones are to join the business class. But for those who are just starting business, have spent less than a year or two, and still need more opportunities and support in order to be able to polish themselves, understand the area of finance, funds, understand leadership in business, understanding proposal writing, how can you pitch for grants and so on. All these things will also be taught in next class, and that one is for like a general class. So you can choose to decide which of the classes you'd love to belong. The business class is for the business people. The fee is 20,000 naira, and it's going to last for 6 weeks. While the general class is a month, every weekend, and it's going to last for a month, and it's just 5,000 naira. And all these courses, you'll be getting a certificate, and you'll be exposed to rudiments in entrepreneurship and the likes. While those who attend the business class are going to be taking on top some big businesses in Nigeria. They are going to be meeting with the CEOs of those companies. We'll be telling them the level at which the business was collapsing and how it came back, average profit made, how they source for their profit, and so on. We have earmarked some companies that we are going to be using to do that. So please, we'll be closing the rooms now so that every other person can return to the main house. Thank you very much. So, okay, so breakout session will be closing in 49 seconds. We are waiting for them. Thank you. I welcome back from the breakout session. I believe we're able to learn one or two things from the breakout session. I believe we've been able to learn one or two things from the breakout session. So please, do we have, for those breakout groups, we have one person from each of the groups to give us like a short summary of what was discussed in each of the groups. And we have one person from group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. If you are ready, there's no order of, if you are ready, one person from each group, just give us a summary of what was discussed.
Yes, well, this is Omalesha Kim. Yeah, when we started, we introduced ourselves, the business we are into. The co-host was asking each one of us challenges we face so far. Yeah, like I cited some challenges I faced, the issue of the environment, the issue of the people trusting what you are bringing into them, and the issue of capital. Because I made mention of issue of when one of the panelists was since was explaining things about capital, that capital can be asked from relatives or parents or anyone around you that you trust. So I was now saying, what about those that didn't have even parents or relatives or even brothers or anybody that we get the capital from? So I made mention of issue of that, and I said, and Mr. Julius said something about, yeah, if I want someone to trust me or I accept my service, I have to create value for what I'm doing. So that's what I can say. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Omolesho Akim, for that. The truth is that business is a two-way thing. Sometimes people who are your family members will not even patronize you. The people that will patronize you are your friends. If your friends are not patronizing you, that means you don't have the right friends. So you need to start shuffling your friends. For example, let me give you an instance. Middle of this year, I did a reshuffling of my friends. I cut some down and I added new friends. This is very needed. And I can tell you that for every business that I do, I head up Indigenous Farmers AMPA, and I'm also the chairman of the board of Daybreast Oils and Wines. What do we do in Daybreast Oil and Wine? We sell imported alcohol removed wines, and they sell all manners of perfumes. Now, the reason why that organization, what is set to achieve is that they are set to achieve quickly and fake products. That is what is set to, because many people in Nigeria on the quest of making money are selling fake things in order to make money. And our company is standing to say, oh, we are only going to be selling original. I'm not the owner of the company. It's owned by someone, but I'm the chairman of the company because the person approached me to chairman the company to offer advice, support, finance, and everything. And I can tell you the company is doing well. The cheapest wine that we sell is 10,000 naira. Cheapest. And it's imported from the US. And if you're having diabetes, all those things, or if you take alcohol, it has issues in your body. When you take this wine, it's very good for you. And the other part too, you can get perfume that will stay 5 days in your body and you still have not spent 6,000 naira on buying perfume. So, and people are coming, people are buying, referral is coming. We are using the company page to promote the products. Same thing happens to Indigenous Farmers AMPA, where people are buying ofada rice, original, and people are buying yam flour and they're buying original. No customer has ever called to say he or she bought fake or he or she is not satisfied. So I think one thing we should learn is integrity. Integrity will bring referral. And when your customers approach you that you should sell something to them, you should always make sure that you do it in a way that they will also refer you. Most of my customers or most of our customers in our businesses have been referring us. So thank you. Then do we have any from group 2, group 3, before we call it a day? Group 2, group 3. Anyone from group 2, group 3?
Well, from my group, no one seemed to participate because I wasn't seeing anyone coming up with any charts or saying anything except Mr. Joshua Ogumola, who sent a chart that is into shoe making for both male and female and added his phone number. I don't know if he's still here with us, if he can speak to us more about that. Maybe if he still has anything to say.
Mr. Joshua, are you with us?
Joshua Ogumola, are you there? If he's not there, let's proceed to any other.
I guess network issues. Okay, any other group? Okay, well, if there's no other group, please just ensure whatever you are selling, whatever you are marketing, always ensure that you don't keep it in the dark. Let people know what you are selling. If you're a master of ceremony, when you go for an MC, post your pictures on your social media page. Let people know that this is what you do. Don't be shy at any time to hide what you are doing. And if you are an entrepreneur that is just coming up, I also want to advise you. The first thing to do is not to get a shop. If you think that when you get a shop, you will not have money to buy products in that shop, don't get a shop. You can start small. Buy your products in your house. Start visiting people that you know. Go to your immediate environment, community, religious organization, or alma mater. If you have a WhatsApp page, let them know that this is what you do. Don't be ashamed to sell what you are doing. And I believe that with that, you can start things. You are starting from the grassroots. So, is there any other person that wants to say something?
Sorry, please, before you round up, please, this WhatsApp group you just made mention of. Please, is there any WhatsApp group? I don't know, maybe other people we like that. Is there any WhatsApp group? Maybe I'll drop my number to your email, so we just add me to any WhatsApp group that talks much about entrepreneurship and way forward, how to navigate. If there is any, I don't mind sending my number to your email. Thank you.
Okay, hi, Mr. Post, if I may.
Can you go ahead, please?
Okay, thank you. Just a quick reminder to everybody on the program today. If you are in Lagos, we are telling you guys to quickly visit www.allfarmersonline.com. I'm sure you've enjoyed the session, you've enjoyed the business. Okay, you can see my face now, so we're not spirits. Please visit allfarmersonline.com, and it's important because the coupon for today is 20% off. If you use AFO_ULEG today, you get 20% off. From tomorrow, it becomes 10%. So take advantage of the opportunity, valid till the end of today. Thank you very much again. Visit www.allfarmersonline.com. Thank you. I'll put the link up in the chat box right now.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the offer.
Okay, so as I've said earlier, we want to say thank you to everyone. I can assure you that the slides and every other information will be sent to your email. If you have registered to attend, I'm sure that everybody will registered. Okay, those that are left and those that are still around, so you get the information. And please, for feedbacks, we want feedbacks on your businesses, challenges, whatever. If you need incubation, mentoring ideas, and so on, don't feel free to get across to us. Just send your mail to yoleg@gmail.com. And if you want to mirror your business or you want to find more most of the speakers we are invited today, you want to find out one thing about them, please ensure you send your mail. If you can send it to them, if they ask for a link, you can link you guys up so that you can have other access. And also, an apology just came from Lagos State Deputy Governor. He is currently in a meeting, a program with the governor, and then he said if he had known, he would have even recorded the video he sent. But be that as it may, he said one of the things that is at the fore of Lagos State government is youth empowerment, and he's assuring us that for our business session in Yole Hub is these people that comes for the entrepreneurship polishing of training, that he won't mind that we bring them to his office, that we're ready to meet them personally and also talk more about what they do and how they can build up. So I think at this point, we'll say thank you to Mr. Mokeja. Let me just hand over to you as the round of the program.
Okay, we certainly want to thank everyone for their time from the beginning of the program up to this time. It really takes patience for you to stand by us up to this time, to dedicate 4 hours of your time. That's such a huge privilege that we don't take for granted. And we hope when we call on you again, we can always count on you to partner with us to attend our events. And we want to say thank you. And to add again, in case you need any inquiry, you need any information, you need any advice, you need suggestions, you can reach out to us on yolechub@gmail.com. Yolechub is YOLECHUB@gmail.com.